Welcome back, everybody. Time for What's Hot, where we talk about the stories that have us all talking.
We're joined today with Susie Falk from the Falk Group Public Relations, plus Tracy Johnson is back with us. The Marine Corps is considering a new look. Officials are on the verge of swapping out the Marines' iconic caps with a new version some are calling quote-unquote girly. Some Marines want to keep the old hats. Should Marines wear unisex hats?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's a bad hat. I guess they used to wear it at the turn of the century,
right.
And there's a reason why they're not wearing it anymore. It's not a good-looking hat. It looks sort of like a French military hat. I don't like it. You know, I think women, they are allowed to wear skirts in the Marines, not in combat, but why can't they have their own hats and men can keep the hats that look so good on them?
Well, they're so distinguished, and I think you talk about the optics. What does this look like? I think there's something just very astute that stands out about the Marines hat. Not only that, but think about the cost. This is not a free endeavor. Something like $8.5 million. Last time I checked, there were children on the street. There were wars going on. We've got bigger issues going on here.
And I love how partisan politics have been injected into the uniform discussion at the Marine Corps. You've got all these conservative news sites now saying that President Obama wants the Marines to look girly. Or he wants the Marines to look French because the Defense Department's considering a new hat.
I actually don't think they look girly. I just don't understand why they would want to change it. I mean, if it was something to do with more women entering the Marines, that they wanted to, in the long term, save money, there just really wasn't a good economic argument.
No, my guess is that they wanted uniformity and that this was one option that, received a lot of votes early on. It's in the proposal phase of it. It's going down, folks. You're not going to see that hat on our U.S. Marines. You have my word on that. It's not a good hat.
Trust Susie Falk. She knows what she's talking about.
$8 million, folks. Tracy, you nailed it. It's $8 million.
It does look more French than girly, I would say.
French. Berets are
Fashion
girly
forward,
and French, and men look good in berets.
You know what? Not too long ago, the president took some heat for standardizing berets across the Army. And there was a lot of flack he took about, hey, you're going to make us all wear these French-looking berets. Then the Green Berets came forward and said, "What are you saying about our hats?"
Exactly, and my cousin
you
was
got
a Green
something to say
Beret.
about my hat?
My cousin was a Green Beret. He looked good in that hat. He did not look girly.
Yeah,
that one's for you, Johnny.
It is funny when you talk about the partisan politics and all of this. I think it's just a matter of common sense and what are our priorities here?
I'm glad we can agree on that. Coming up.
Seems to be the only thing hot around here right now. Our viewer's choice topic of the day.
Again, we're joined by Susie Falk and Tracy Johnson from Tempo, Milwaukee. Parents seem to be tougher with their firstborn child. Researchers found the firstborns seem to do better in school and suggest parents were more likely to closely watch their firstborn than other kids. I was a firstborn, and I will agree, I was watched like a hawk, but that was probably because I just got into a lot of stuff I shouldn't have.
I really can't get into this. I'm an only child. So.
Okay.
But you're the firstborn, but you're also the lastborn.
Exactly.
Too, right?
Tracy, where do you fall?
I am firstborn, and I think it's funny, I actually, polling my friends and a lot of the people that I have a lot in common with, were a lot of firstborns. There's just, I think, something to that, the way that we handle situations, the way that we navigate the waters, and I do think that parenting is one piece of it. I also think another piece of it, especially when there are multiple children, is that you have this sense of leadership, and you're also a guide for your younger siblings.
Yeah. Well, I'm a second-born, so and go figure. But let me tell you, I was at my second-born. I've got two, an older daughter and a younger son, and he got straight A's middle school. So how do you top that? I'll find out tomorrow when I attend my daughter's parent-teacher conferences. So, and you know what? Did I treat her more strictly than my son? I don't think so. I think, I treated them fairly equally. One typically does a little bit better in school, but they're both great kids, and Tracy, I do agree with you that the firstborns tend to maybe show a little bit more leadership because they're sort of expected to rise to the occasion. They're the first to speak. They're the first to open presents, whatever. So
they get more time. Well, they get more time and dedication.
They do get more time.
I think about, there's a 3-year gap between my two kids, and my firstborn he's got a leg up. I
Yeah.
mean, he's not sharing any time. And so I think all of these things add up.
You can look at other studies though, and secondborns often are more creative and have, you know, they're thinking a little bit more freely because they weren't, you know, their parents
freedom,
weren't
right?
so strict. Right, and maybe had a little more wiggle room to think outside the box. So, you know, there's a lot of very talented secondborns too.
Well, who knew that this topic would get us talking? Well, there is some breaking